Welcome back all you Reddit fans. Two more stories from relationship advice. One deals with a man trying to avoid a woman at work. The other is about a boy getting bullied. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's do this. This story is titled, "The woman I work with who accused me of stalking her is now acting like nothing happened, and it's freaking me out." The title doesn't contain the whole story, but I couldn't put everything in there. About 2 years ago, I, male 34, had a new colleague start at my company, female 29. She was gorgeous, funny and charming and soon became very popular. I became quite enamored with her, and it was obvious to everyone that I had a crush on her. I'm sure it was obvious to her too. I'm embarrassed about this now. However, it didn't seem to bother her at the time. In fact, despite my obvious crush, we got quite close. She used to eat her lunch with me, where she would tell me very personal stories about herself and her son. She's a single mother. She had invited me to her house multiple times. She sometimes asked me to do her little favors outside of work, and she used to buy me little gifts that I didn't ask for or expect. All in all, we became friends, or at least I thought so. But about 8 months ago we had a major falling out. It was my fault. I perceived her to have done something that upset me, and I reacted very badly. I was going through a bad time and I lashed out at her and said some nasty things. This is something that I am now in therapy about, as I have a habit of hurting those close to me when I am upset. She was quite reasonably extremely hurt and angry about this, and cut off all communication with me. I don't blame her, I would have done the same. The friendship was over in a ball of flames. However, in the aftermath she went nuclear. She approached my boss and said that I was stalking her, and that she felt very unsafe around me. All of the things I had done previously, including the unspoken about crush, were now used as ammunition against me. Thankfully, in the end the claims didn't go anywhere. HR accepted that my behavior, crush, had made her very uncomfortable, despite her acting the opposite, but also said that she was exaggerating her claims and that I had not harassed her. At worst, my crime was misunderstanding the level of our friendship. We were effectively just told to stay the hell away from each other, so I have done exactly that. I have literally not said a word to her in 8 months. I stay away from her in the lab. Even work conversations get routed through one of the supervisors so we don't have to talk. But recently, the past week or two, she has started to approach me. She has tried to start a few small conversations, and she will sit down next to me at the computer, or set up her workspace on the lab bench next to me, literally 3 or 4 feet away. She has started sitting the next table over from me at the canteen, even if I was there first and there are other free tables further away. I am extremely uncomfortable about this. If she really thought I was a stalker and made her feel unsafe, wouldn't she still be avoiding me? Why would she suddenly be making the choice to work and eat near me, when she could set herself up somewhere a more safe distance away? Any help would be appreciated. Frankly, I am terrified of being around her and giving her any ammunition at all to use in another complaint against me. How do I approach this? I don't know if I should go to my boss. What would I say? Any complaint would make it sound like I'm still obsessed with her since she hasn't technically done anything wrong, and would only add credence to her former claims. I'm at a loss and it's making my work life hell. Comment 1. She approached my boss and said that I was stalking her, and that she felt very unsafe around me. Go to your boss and say that this woman is trying to approach you. Tell him that you are uncomfortable being around a woman that accused you of stalking and feeling unsafe close to you. Make sure that you have some proof that you have not spoken to her for 8 months and that she was the one that approached you. Tell him that you're afraid that she might get you in trouble again. Then ask him what to do. Comment 2. Good Lord, stay away. Tell HR, your boss, do not allow yourself to be around her without a witness. Protect yourself at all costs. Comment 3. Probably best to give someone you trust at the HR department the heads up of the change in situation. Better to tell them first before anything either happens or is deemed to have happened. Comment 4. I would steer clear of that situation. However, since she keeps trying to initiate contact, I would keep a log over the next week or 2 of every interaction, whether it's just her moving her seat closer to you, or actually trying to talk to you. If it continues, then you should go to HR and just say, hey, I wanted to give you a heads up, because I don't want you to think I'm going against what we discussed last year, but here's what's been going on, and just fill them in. That way you are protecting yourself. Good luck. Comment 5. She probably missed you. Stay the hell away. She's probably trying to bait you into starting a conversation. If she approaches you, tell her you'd rather maintain the same distance you both have had the last 8 months. If you have a good relationship with your manager, may not be a bad idea to give them a heads up in writing so you have proof of when any contact happened and that it was initiated by her. I also understand if you'd rather not say anything to your employer in order to avoid any additional drama. Comment 6. I work for a large company and we have compliance trainings multiple times a year. In situations like no matter how uncomfortable, you must tell your boss at a minimum and have HR involved. Record and date everything. Do not tell other co-workers and act now. Everything should be taken care of from there. Poor dude, I wouldn't be able to focus or be productive at all. Comment 7. I think you are on thin ice at your current job. I wouldn't go talking to HR or the boss about this. They might just fire you to end the drama between you and your former friend. Instead, I would do the following. If she tries to talk to you, walk away. Say I can't talk to you if you must. If she sets up her workspace next to yours, move if you can. If you can't, act like she isn't there. I'd ignore her sitting near you in the canteen. Pretend she isn't there. Document her trying to talk to you or initiating contact. Where, when, who else was there? Use this only if she makes another complaint to HR or your boss. Good luck, you are in a bad situation. Comment 8. This is a very tough situation. Your career and employment with future companies might be on the line here because getting fired for sexual harassment can follow you around for years. As a man, you might not even be guilty, but just being accused can tarnish your reputation. This is a very toxic situation. If you can, I would suggest finding another job. No job is worth the mental anguish you're going through. Distancing yourself from her and any company she works at will be for the best. She obviously misses your friendship, but friends don't report other friends to HR. Stay away from her where you can. This story is titled, I, male 17, believe my younger brother, 10, is being excluded and possibly bullied in school. How can I help him? I really want to be there for him. Me and my brother have a fairly close relationship. I like to play video games and watch TV with him, and I always try to make him feel loved. I was not always kind to him, but as the oldest I realized I never had a bully older brother and I should be a kinder model for him. I really care about his well-being, as he has expressed feelings of depression in the past. Anyway, during summer he would always play with his two best friends at our country club and he had plenty of play dates. He also would play hours of Minecraft and Fortnite on my Xbox with his friends every day. He is shy sometimes, but is always active and expressive with his friends. I noticed this school year that he would go on group Zooms and try to make jokes or points, and this one kid would always go shut up, brother's name, and then all the other kids would go yeah, brother's name, shut it or knock it off, brother's name. He stopped going on the Xbox a lot too. Yesterday, I was hanging in my basement and he asked to play with his friends, so I got off and let him. About 10 minutes later he came to my room and told me I could go back on the Xbox. I asked him why, and he said that none of his friends wanted him in the party. Today, I saw him playing Minecraft and asked if he was playing with his friends. He said he was in a party, but when he went upstairs for a minute, they all left. These two recent events have gotten me kind of worried. I have two ideas as to why he may be treated this way. The first is that the kid can be pretty annoying. He likes to push buttons and he'll often incessantly beg for things from people. That can start to get in people's nerves, especially tweens. The other thing, which is highly speculative, is that he may be trans or just LGBTQ+ in general. He has long hair for a boy and I have noticed that in some games he has been using a feminine version of his name to play. Also, I saw a notebook he kept where he flat out wrote I could be a girl if I wanted to. I will always be supportive of him if it comes to that, but the 5th graders around him might not. I want to help him. I haven't even brought this to my mom and dad yet, because I don't know if they would properly help him. On a good note, he is a 5th grader and we are moving him to a Catholic school for middle school. That school worked wonders for my sister after she was battling depression in elementary school. Anyway, how can I go about this? Comment 1. Maybe play Minecraft with him one afternoon and ask him about what's going on. Give him space to open up to you, maybe share a few things about yourself. Express your concerns on an age-appropriate way. I think what you're doing is great. Keep being a safe space for your brother. Comment 2. Maybe let him know you're a person he can come to deal with his problems. In one of my classes on trauma-informed practice they suggested this method of approaching a student who was having issues. You start by asking how they are doing, then saying that you care about the person but that you've noticed such and such behaviors, and then asking them what they think about that. It's really important not to accuse them of what you think is happening. So for your sibling you could say, "Hey, as your brother, you know I care about you a lot. Lately I've noticed that you seem kind of down when before you were really bubbly and happy. I've heard some of your friends making some mean comments about you when you were playing online, and, the other day when you asked to use the Xbox so you could play with your friends, you only used it for 10 minutes before you stopped. You know I care about you and I'm a little worried. What do you think about these things?" Comment 3. The most important thing is providing a good firm base. That base could be you. That is by spending some time together. You don't even need to talk about difficult social topics at all. If he enters a room, you look up and give a quick smile. When he talks, you put away your phone and actually look at him. Every now and then you say out of the blue, "Hey bro, I am really lucky to have you as my brother." Take him with you when you go outside for something. Take an interest in his activities. Talk to him about your activities, about your beliefs, political, social, things you are scared and nervous for, things that you are happy or proud for. Maybe he can see how you interact with your close friends, how you talk together, how you listen to each other, how you show respect. For instance, if a good friend comes over and you feel like playing a board game, you could play a few rounds with the three of you. Or you could go outside and play some basketball with the three. Edit. It might be a very good idea to offer sincere apologies about how you behaved to him before you made the conscious decision to be a better brother. He is just young, so he might not know what to say. Just continue and give examples of what you did that you now know to not be right, and that you have been thinking about that a lot, and that you are very sorry. He probably still is just shy and not knowing what to say at this point. You can continue with asking for his help, that if you are being a bit bossy and disrespectful, if he please could come to you at that moment or a day or so later to remind you of your promise. Such an expression of apologies can instill a very strong feeling of security in children. He needs the security. Comment 4. If your sibling is expressing themselves as being another gender in multiple ways, both publicly, female username, and in a place no one else will see, the notebook, at age 10, that's a massive sign that yeah, they're likely trans. Normally this wouldn't matter other than you giving them lots of support and subtly telling them that you're cool with LGBTQ+, but the clock is ticking because having a trans kid attend a Catholic school can be really bad depending on that school's culture. Is it possible to get more information from the school administration by yourself so you don't out your sibling to your parents? Phone them up, ask them in depth how they handled trans kids. Will they allow students to wear the uniform they feel most comfortable in? What religious content do they teach? Even if your sibling turns out not to be trans, they definitely may feel hurt and frustrated if forced into masculine teachings. Comment 5. I think you should tell your parents. If he's not doing okay, it might be a good idea for him to see a therapist. 10 is so young, it's important to take care of his mental health ASAP because things can go downhill very quickly. I speak from experience. My 11-years-old niece kind of had the same issue. Also, you could drop some hints to your brother about him being LGBTQ+ so he feels seen. But if he doesn't want to talk about it, don't push it. At least he knows you're there for him on that part. Also, if his classmates keep pestering him, it should be a good idea to contact the school and see what they can do about it. Most of the times the kids will get a punition and hopefully won't do it again. Comment 6. No one can be more cruel and unjust than kids can be to other kids. I'm not sure how you can even help him other than being there for him and let him know you love him and he can talk to you or play video games with you anytime. Frankly, I think this is the kind of thing kids grow out of and learn from. I had toxic friends when I was in middle school, and when I was an adult, I eventually got tired of the abuse and stopped being friends with them and found better friends. But how do you tell or teach that to a 10-year-old? He has to learn this lesson for himself. But you know, reading him my comment may be a good start. Comment 7. This is a flashback to my middle school experience many years ago. I was a quiet, scrawny, shy, nerdy kid and considered a loser because of my glasses, and my parents couldn't afford to buy me those fancy Izod shirts and other expensive clothes. I sported a wardrobe that came from the Salvation Army, garage sales, Goodwill, or Kmart. There were other things too as to why kids didn't like me, or so I was told pretty much every day for a long time. Back then, the teachers and parents were horrible about intervening when a kid was getting bullied too. Heck, I had teachers, parents, and coaches even join in on the bullying sometimes. One time, a parent was dropping off their kid at school and started handing out invitations to a birthday party, and lo and behold, I was the only one to not get one. I asked why, and the kid said, "I don't want any nerds at my party." It was a rough experience for me looking back now. It dissipated in high school where instead of being bullied, I was just ignored. That experience was a bit better. The funny thing is, I grew up to be a pretty big guy and most sane people wouldn't consider bullying me now. I'm married with 4 kids, have a nice house, and a good job. I've also got a pretty decent group of friends that would never suspect I was so unpopular when I was young. I get Facebook friend requests every now and again from the same people that made my life a living hell back then. It's funny to see how they all look now. Bald, fat, grey hair, wrinkles, etc. Some of the attractive ladies that ignored me or picked on me back then aren't so attractive anymore. They're actually kind of scary looking. It's like someone took their picture back then and made a frightening Halloween mask out of it now. At 50, I still look pretty young and people have told me they thought I was in my early 30s. I have all my hair, very few wrinkles, and I'm in good shape. I must say I won on the aging game. About 20 years ago I found out, while helping my parents do their will, that they are actually quite monetarily well-to-do. I asked them why they shopped at garage sales and stuff for my clothes when I was younger when they could afford better. They said that it's because kids grow out of clothes so quickly that it's stupid to spend full price on something that you'll only get 3 to 6 months use out of. Plus you don't become and stay wealthy by spending your money frivolously. I've followed their advice over the years and have done quite well financially myself. My story is a bit off topic, but I guess I wanted to put it out there to relate that you can wade through 6 foot of crap and come through clean on the other side. I just hope that young boy finds some peace in his life like I did.
Thank you so very much for listening. Please check out my other videos and like and subscribe.